The Sleeping Giants, and to your right, you'll observe the human exhibition of what they called coffee culture, a fascinating ritual from their pre-contact era. The tour guide, Zellner, gestured with three of his tentacle appendages toward the small cafe where humans sat chatting, reading physical books, and sipping dark beverages. His translucent cranium pulsed with pastel colors indicating amusement as the group of wealthy galactic tourists chittered and tapped notes into their neural interfaces. Note how the humans maintain these quaint customs centuries after joining the Galactic Concord, Zellner continued. Scholars believe they preserve these rituals as a connection to their primitive past. A Vosic dignitary with jeweled implants protruding from her violet exoskeleton raised an appendage. Is it true they once waged wars among themselves over these stimulants and other resources? Zellner's cranium flashed yellow, the universal indicator of delighted knowledge sharing. Indeed, human history is filled with violent conflicts, but they've thankfully evolved beyond such barbarism. They haven't engaged in organized warfare for over 3 centuries. Many species find their transformation remarkable, from warlike primitives to the gentle cultural preservationists we see today. Inside the cafe, Sarah Chen sipped her espresso while pretending to read a vintage paper novel. Her augmented hearing implant, disguised as an antique earring, captured every word from the alien tour group outside. She made no outward reaction, but her neural interface automatically encrypted and transmitted the conversation to Central Command. Just another day at her post. Across the galaxy, aboard the flagship of the Krevari Empire, Supreme Commander Dravik slammed a clawed fist against the holographic display. 300 years of passivity, he growled, mandibles clicking in anticipation. The intelligence is conclusive. Strategic Director Mekos bowed her armored head. Absolutely, Commander. Humans have maintained a purely ceremonial military for generations. They stage historical reenactments of their ancient wars as cultural exhibitions, but actual combat capability has atrophied to nothing. Their vessels are outdated, their weapons ceremonial. Earth is essentially defenseless. Yet they control 17 major hyperspace junctions. Dravik mused, compound eyes glittering with ambition. The greatest strategic position in the quadrant, wasted on a species that spends its time preserving coffee rituals and vintage clothing styles. Resource Minister Talvik stepped forward, his carapace gleaming under the ship's lights. Our projections indicate minimal resistance. The human governing body, their United Earth Council, values stability above all. They will likely surrender rather than risk disruption to their carefully preserved way of life. Dravik's mandibles spread in the Krevari expression of satisfaction. Prepare the collection fleet. Earth will make a fine addition to our cultural preservation zones, and its strategic position will finally give us dominance over the Concord. In the austere chambers of the United Earth Council in Geneva, Secretary General Maya Williams stared at the holographic message hovering above the conference table. The Krevari Empire hereby announces the benevolent incorporation of Earth as a protected cultural preserve. Our collection fleet arrives in 72 Earth hours. Surrender will ensure minimal disruption to your cultural exhibitions. The council members sat in silence, their faces betraying nothing. Security feeds showed alien embassies throughout Earth already buzzing with activity as news spread. General Octavio Reyes, nominal head of Earth's ceremonial defense forces, cleared his throat. Madam Secretary General, shall we issue the standard diplomatic protest? Request Concord arbitration. Williams allowed a small smile to cross her face. Of course, General. The expected diplomatic channels must be respected. She pressed her palm against a hidden panel in the table. A DNA scanner hummed, and a section of the table slid away to reveal a simple metal button. And then, she continued, we wake the dragons. Williams pressed the button. Throughout Earth and its colonies, in basements and attics, in antique stores and museums, in national parks and underground bunkers, a signal activated dormant systems. Devices disguised as vintage electronics blinked to life. Hidden compartments in historic buildings slid open. Ordinary citizens received encoded messages on devices they carried for years, hoping never to see activated. In Boston, Professor Alan Nakamura was lecturing about 21st century literature when his vintage mechanical watch vibrated against his wrist. He glanced at it casually, then smiled at his students. "Class dismissed early today," he announced. "Please review chapters 7 through 9 for next week." As the students filed out, Nakamura walked to his office, locked the door, and opened a hidden compartment in his antique wooden desk. Inside lay a small metallic cube. He pressed his thumb against it, and the cube unfolded, transforming into a neural interface far more advanced than anything publicly available in the Concord. "Sleeper Cell Boston, reporting for duty," he subvocalized as the interface linked with his nervous system. Across the planet, similar scenes played out thousands of times. In farming communities, in bustling cities, in orbital habitats, ordinary humans activated hidden technology and reported in. On the outskirts of New Delhi, 80-year-old Indira Patel received the signal on her medical alert bracelet. She smiled, walked to her garden shed, and moved aside a stack of clay pots. A hidden panel in the floor slid open, revealing a staircase descending deep underground. 10 minutes later, she sat in a command chair within a fully operational military bunker, surrounded by holographic displays showing activity across the solar system. "Solar Defense Grid India Prime. Online," she reported, her voice strong and clear, "bringing weapons systems to full readiness." In Earth orbit, the Kaveri advanced scout vessels materialized precisely on schedule, their sleek, predatory forms gliding into position around the planet. "Scans confirm minimal defensive capabilities," reported the sensor officer aboard the lead ship. "Their orbital platforms are unarmed." As expected. Fleet Captain Zivrak nodded with satisfaction. "Broadcast the formal surrender demand on all frequencies. Remind them that resistance is pointless and will only damage their precious cultural artifacts." The message went out, and the Kaveri waited for Earth's inevitable capitulation. Instead, silence. No response from Earth governance, the communications officer reported after several minutes. Zivrak frowned. "Scan again. Perhaps their primitive systems require time to process." His words died as proximity alarms shrieked across the command deck. From Earth's surface, from orbital platforms that had appeared dormant, from satellites that had been classified as communication relays, energy signatures suddenly flared to life. What had seemed like decorative elements on buildings, vintage water towers, and historic monuments across the planet's surface began to move, revealing themselves as disguised weapon emplacements. "Impossible," the sensor officer whispered as the readings flooded his screens. "They have planetary defense grids comparable to a core world." In the skies above London, New York, Beijing, and dozens of other cities worldwide, what had appeared to be ordinary cloud formations dissipated, revealing massive orbital defense platforms that had been hiding in plain sight, cloaked by atmospheric manipulation technology far beyond what the Kaveri believed humans possessed. Aboard his flagship, Supreme Commander Dravik received the panicked transmissions from the advance fleet with growing horror. "Full retreat," he ordered. "Pull back the collection fleet immediately." Too late. From Earth's surface, precisely targeted energy beams lanced upward, striking the advanced scout vessels with surgical precision. Not to destroy, merely to disable. Propulsion systems, weapons arrays, and communication equipment on the Kaveri ships went dark. On the grounds of what appeared to be a historical recreation of a 20th century military base in Colorado, General Rice stood in a control room that had, until an hour ago, been disguised as a museum exhibit. Around him, operators who had posed as historical reenactors for years worked with practiced efficiency at stations controlling Earth's orbital defense network. "Phase 1 complete," his aide reported. "All Kaveri advance vessels have been neutralized without casualties. Their main fleet has halted at the edge of the system." Reyes nodded. "Excellent. Open a direct channel to Supreme Commander Dravik." When the Kaveri commander's image appeared on the main screen, His compound eyes widened with shock at seeing Reyes in full military regalia rather than the ceremonial uniform he wore for galactic functions. "This is General Octavio Reyes of Earth Defense Command. Your scout vessels have been disabled but not destroyed. Their crews will be treated according to Concord protocols for military detainees." Dravik's mandibles clicked rapidly in agitation. What is the meaning of this deception? Earth has been demilitarized for centuries. Reyes allowed himself a small smile. "No, Commander. Earth has merely been patient." Waking the dragons. Supreme Commander Dravik paced the command deck of his flagship, mandibles clicking in agitation as reports flooded in from the edge of the Earth solar system. "Impossible," he muttered. 3 centuries of intelligence, thousands of observations, countless infiltrations, all confirming the same conclusion. Humans abandoned warfare generations ago. Strategic Director Mekos stood rigidly, her exoskeleton plates clicking together nervously. The evidence was overwhelming, Commander. Their weapons were ceremonial. Their military exercises were theatrical performances for tourists. Their warships were museums. Apparently not, Dravik hissed, gesturing at the holographic display showing their disabled advance fleet hanging helplessly in Earth orbit. "Explain how a species of cultural preservationists disabled 12 Krevari warships without destroying a single one." Before Mekos could respond, the communication array chimed. "Incoming transmission from Earth, Commander. It's Secretary General Williams." On screen, Dravik growled. The human leader appeared, seated at what now revealed itself to be a military command center rather than the ceremonial council chamber it had appeared to be during previous communications. "Supreme Commander Dravik," Williams began, her tone cordial but firm. "I trust our demonstration has made Earth's position clear. However, in the interest of preventing further misunderstanding, I would like to invite you personally to Earth for diplomatic discussions. You will receive full immunity and safe passage as guaranteed by Concord protocols." Dravik's compound eyes narrowed. "You expect me to place myself at your mercy after this deception?" Williams smiled. "Commander, if we wished you harm, we would have simply destroyed your advance fleet rather than disabling it. Your vessels are intact, your crews unharmed. This invitation is a courtesy, and an opportunity for you to understand why attempting to collect Earth would be inadvisable." After the transmission ended, Resource Minister Talvik approached cautiously. "Commander, our intelligence was not entirely wrong. Humans haven't engaged in warfare for centuries. What we're seeing cannot be the result of continuous military development." Dravik turned to him. "Explain." "I believe," Talvik said slowly, "that we have fallen victim to the most elaborate strategic deception in galactic history." Aboard a transport vessel approaching Earth, Dravik sat stiffly, surrounded by an honor guard of his most trusted warriors. The human military escort maintained a respectful distance, their behavior impeccably professional. The vessel descended toward what had once been called the United Nations Plaza in New York, now revealed to be a sophisticated military installation hidden beneath historical architecture. As they landed, Dravik observed the cityscape with new eyes. What he had previously seen as quaint preservation of historical structures, he now recognized as masterfully disguised defense systems. The water towers on rooftops were weapon emplacements. The historical monuments contained sensor arrays. Even the decorative street patterns now revealed themselves as tactical layouts designed to channel any ground invasion into kill zones. The human escort led them into an underground facility where Secretary General Williams waited with General Reyes and several other officials. "Welcome to Earth, Commander Dravik," Williams said. "I believe we have much to discuss." "Indeed," Dravik clicked, mandibles twitching with barely controlled anger. "Beginning with how the allegedly peace-loving humans have maintained a military deception for 3 centuries. Williams gestured toward a large conference table. "Please be seated. The explanation is quite simple, Commander. We never stopped being warriors. We merely stopped advertising it." Over the next hour, Williams and Rice revealed the truth that had been hidden from the galaxy for centuries. After our first contact with the Galactic Concord, Williams explained, humanity realized two things. First, that we were technologically outmatched by numerous species. Second, that our reputation as aggressive, warlike beings made others wary of sharing advanced technology with us. Rice continued, rather than fight an unwinnable arms race, we chose adaptation. We presented ourselves as having evolved beyond warfare, becoming the harmless cultural preservationists you believed us to be. Meanwhile, Williams added, we developed our military technology in absolute secrecy. Every human structure built in the last 300 years has dual functionality. Every citizen receives basic military training disguised as historical education. Our entire civilization became a carefully crafted deception designed to hide our true capabilities. A deception maintained across generations, Dravik said incredulously. Impossible without slip-ups, without someone revealing the truth. Williams smiled. Not impossible with the right cultural incentives. Humans enjoy keeping secrets, Commander. We made it a point of pride. Children are taught from birth that maintaining the masquerade, as we call it, is our greatest cultural achievement. On the main display, images appeared showing hidden military installations across Earth and its colonies. Training facilities disguised as historical reenactment societies, weapon development labs hidden beneath art museums, ordinary citizens transitioning seamlessly from their daily roles to military functions. What you're seeing now, Rise explained, is only our first-tier response, the deterrent layer we revealed to demonstrate our capabilities without showing our full strength. As the tour continued, Dravik's mandibles stopped clicking, falling still in the Creveri expression of profound shock. What had seemed like primitive human infrastructure now revealed itself as a planetary defense system more sophisticated than anything in the Creveri arsenal. In a small town in rural Montana, cameras showed what appeared to be ordinary farmers removing paneling from their barns to reveal advanced combat mechs. In the Amazon basin, indigenous tribes activated camouflaged bunkers containing anti-orbital cannons. Across the Pacific, commercial fishing vessels transformed into naval combat platforms. 3 centuries ago, Williams continued, humanity made a collective decision. Rather than announcing our military advancements and triggering an arms race, we would develop in secret. We would appear to evolve beyond warfare, becoming the galaxy's favorite cultural curiosity, harmless, quaint preservers of history. All while preparing for war, Dravik stated flatly. No, Commander, Williams corrected. While preparing to prevent war, everything you've seen today was designed with a single purpose: to ensure that any attempt to conquer Earth would be so costly that no rational species would attempt it. General Rice stepped forward. We call it the Sleeping Dragon Protocol. The dragon appears dormant, peaceful, until threatened. Then it reveals its true nature. Dravik's compound eyes fixed on Williams. And now that you've revealed this deception to me, what prevents me from sharing this knowledge with the galaxy? Williams smiled. Nothing at all, Commander. In fact, we're counting on it. The meeting concluded with the release of the Creveri Advance Fleet, now carrying data crystals containing detailed information about Earth's defensive capabilities. As Dravik prepared to depart, Williams walked with him to the landing pad. You realize, Dravik said quietly, that this revelation will change how the galaxy perceives humanity. We're counting on that as well, Williams replied. The masquerade has served its purpose. We've developed our capabilities while appearing harmless. Now it's time for the next phase, which is deterrence through transparency, she said simply. Now that potential aggressors know what awaits them, actual conflict becomes unnecessary. As his shuttle lifted off, Dravik watched the human city recede below. What had seemed like a quaint museum of primitive culture now revealed itself as one of the most sophisticated military installations he had ever witnessed, hiding in plain sight through the simple expedient of appearing to be exactly what it was not. In the following weeks, the news spread throughout the Galactic Concord. The humans, those supposedly docile cultural preservationists had maintained the greatest military deception in history. Species that had dismissed humans as harmless curiosities now reassessed their strategic calculations. 6 months later, at the Concord Assembly, Secretary General Williams addressed the gathered representatives of 200 species. For centuries, she concluded her speech, humanity has maintained what we called the masquerade, presenting ourselves as having evolved beyond warfare while developing our defenses in secret. Today, we end that deception. Earth and its colonies stand ready to take their rightful place in galactic security matters. From their observation pod, Dravik watched alongside his new liaison to Earth, General Reyes. They still don't fully understand, Dravik commented. Reyes raised an eyebrow. What don't they understand? That this, Dravik gestured toward Williams at the podium, is merely the next layer of the deception. You've revealed enough to deter aggression, while still concealing your true capabilities. Reyes smiled slightly but said nothing. The sleeping dragons never fully awakened, did they? Dravik pressed. Commander, Reyes replied quietly, the true dragons continue to sleep, and everyone in the galaxy should pray they never have reason to wake.